Negosyante ka ba and want to register your business in the Philippines? Which business structure is the best for you? Is it a sole proprietorship or a corporation? I know it can be overwhelming, but I'm here to guide you and help you with a step-by-step guide on how to register your business in the Philippines. Hello everyone and welcome back to Hey Attorney, and after many months of hiatus, we are now on episode 11. I'm Attorney Bernice Piñol-Rodriguez. I am your trademark attorney and the founding partner of Piñol Law. And this morning, we're going to be diving into a very essential topic for entrepreneurs and aspiring business owners on how to register your business in the Philippines. Whether you're planning to launch an online shop, open a physical store, start a corporation, this episode is for you. One of the best things about registering your business in the Philippines is that it gives you a sense of legitimacy. So it's not just about following rules, it's actually about building trust. When your business is registered, clients will have more confidence in working with you. You'll also be able to take on bigger projects, expand your reach, and scale your operations. Plus, registered business owners can access government programs, grants, and tax benefits that unregistered ones simply miss out on. So what are we waiting for? Let's start this journey and make your business ownership and registration process smoother. So isa sa mga pinaka-common na question sa akin ay, hey attorney, ano bang difference ng corporation sa sole proprietorship? So let's compare and contrast both structures. Number one, as to ownership and control. Sa sole proprietorship, ikaw ang may-ari at ikaw ang boss. You have full control over your business, even sa pricing, sa hiring, or even deciding on when to close shop. But here's the catch. Since you have all the control, you also have all the responsibilities. You carry all the weight on your shoulder alone by yourself. Wala kang ka-share ng stress at ng risk. A corporation, on the other hand, is owned by shareholders. So if you're the founder, you'll definitely have the majority of the shares, pero meron kang ka-share sa control. So you're not the absolute owner. But the benefit of this is that you get to share your burdens with the shareholders. Even if ikaw ang nagtatag ng business, you might not be able to control everything on your own. So as to the benefit and the cost, you're just gonna have to balance it. Do you want to lessen your control but to be able to share your burdens with others, or have a lot of control but to not have anyone to share the burdens and the risks with? Next category is the personality and the liability. Sa sole proprietorship, ikaw ang business at ang business ay ikaw. So there's no separate entity here. Whatever liability your business will incur is also your personal liability. So for example, if yung business mo nagkautang, let's say ng 10 million pesos, yung personal savings mo could actually be used to pay for that 10 million liability of your business. Whereas, let's go to the corporation. A corporation has a separate and distinct personality from that of the business owner. So if there is a liability, let's say yung corporation mo nagkautang or whatever liability sa business, no, hindi pwede mag-go after ang car mo or ang house mo. Bank accounts cannot be attached because your personal savings, your personal money is different from the corporation's money. So this is more of a safeguard for you. This is called a limited liability. Next is as to the registration and compliance. Definitely, mas madali is a sole proprietorship because what you just have to worry about this is the registration with the DTI or the Department of Trade and Industry for your business name. After that, you'll have to secure a barangay clearance, mayor's permit, and BIR registration. So the process is not just cheaper, it's actually less complicated than that of a corporation. So that's one of the benefits of a sole proprietorship. As to the registration, the paperwork, definitely much easier. Forming and registering a corporation is more complicated actually because you have to submit your requirements with the Securities and Exchange Commission, and then you have to come up with your articles of incorporation and also fulfill the capitalization requirements. There's also a need to appoint officers like the president, treasurer, and secretary and maintain corporate books. So every year, corporations are also required to file their GIS, General Information Sheet, and the AFS or the Audited Financial Statements. So it's really, really madugo, diba? So this is one of the things that discourages people from complying with corporate applications and registrations. But the beauty of it all is that even though it's really demanding, it actually gives you a certain level of credibility. As to taxation naman, let's go to the sole proprietorship. As a sole proprietor, your business or your income as a business is taxed as part of your personal income. You'll file using the BIR Form 1701, and your tax rate is based on the graduated income tax table ranging from 0% to 35%. If your annual gross sales naman or receipts don't exceed 3 million pesos, you can opt for the flat rate of 8%. However, one downside is that you can't deduct as many business expenses as you can in comparison to a corporation. So, hindi mo pwedeng ibawas yung business expenses mo as a sole proprietorship. Magpunta naman tayo sa corporation. So, corporations are taxed at a flat rate of 25% of their taxable income or 20% for smaller corporations with a less threshold. However, business expenses including salaries, benefits may be used as a deduction. So, this is one of the things that business owners love about a corporation. Yung mga business expenses mo pwedeng mabawas sa iyong taxable income. So, dividends distributed to shareholders are also subject to a 10% final withholding tax. Under the CREATE law, corporations can enjoy certain tax incentives and deductions, making them more tax efficient in the long run. Then let's now go to longevity and transferability. How long will a sole proprietorship last? How long will a corporation last? So for sole props, actually it lasts for as long as you last. So if you die, then the business dies with you unless you make transfers before your death. So this is one of the disadvantages of a sole prop, na parang yung existence niya is highly dependent or solely dependent on the existence of the business owner. On the other hand, a corporation can last forever. It can last for, as many years, in perpetuity even, depending on the articles of incorporation or if it was dissolved beforehand, but a corporation can last in perpetuity. This means na kahit na ma-deads ka na, pwedeng buhay pa rin yung business mo. This can be taken over by your heirs and by your business partners. So this is one of the benefits of a corporation, in that kung gusto mo to build something that will last forever, then go for a corporation because it has a perpetual existence. Next category is access to capitalization and growth. For sole proprietorships, medyo mahirap to raise investors, and even banks are kind of like turned off by sole proprietorships. Hindi sila masyadong supportive in funding or approving loans. So as a sole prop, you're really gonna have to bootstrap yourself, or you're gonna have to use your own savings, use your own money to fund your business. On the other hand, corporations have this structure where you can issue shares. So that means you can ask investors to chip in with you capital and the expenses in exchange for shares of the company. Also, banks are more friendly towards corporations, so they tend to approve faster the loans applied for by corporations, especially those that are operational already. So in a way that corporations have more credibility and kind of like have a more legitimate standing than sole proprietorship. So if you want to expand your business and you have kind of like a vision of it growing and growing over the years, then maybe you can consider starting a corporation instead of a sole prop. On the other hand, if you want to keep your business just small and simple, then sole prop is for you. Let's now go to the government programs and incentives that are available for both structures. So for sole proprietorships, there are government grants and there are some benefits, but not as much as that given to corporations. So sa sole props, walang available na BOI incentives or PEZA, not much really. Whereas in corporations, you have a lot of government funds, you have a lot of support coming from different organizations to fund your corporation, and also you have tax holidays, you have the PEZA, you have the BOI to support you. So when you're actually a corporation, you're opening yourself up to more government grants and tax incentives and benefits from the government. So ano ba talaga ang best na business structure for me? Is it sole proprietorship or corporation? Well, my answer to that, based on all that we've discussed, is depende talaga kung anong gusto mong goal na mangyari sa business mo. If you want to keep it simple and you want to keep it less complicated, and you're just really trying to run your freelance job or just a small online shop, then you can go for sole proprietorship. But on the other hand, if you want to expand your business and you want to be like this major startup unicorn or whatever your ambitions may be na really, really big, then if you want to do that, then you have to accommodate your big dreams with a bigger and more complex structure, which is that of a corporation. But actually, don't be intimidated in creating a corporation. Kayang-kaya naman siya, especially if that's really what you want to go for. You want to collect investments and you want to kind of expand or maybe make it a public company in the future. So at the end of the day, it's still up to you. I just hope that these steps have helped you in one way or another. At the end of the day, creating a corporation or a sole proprietorship may be very complicated for you, but you can always outsource this. You can hire a law firm or a consultancy firm as long as you make sure that all the legal checks are in place. So it's really important to think about these things, and it's really the best way to go na register yung business mo. So let's now go to the steps on how to register these kinds of business structures. First, let's go to the sole proprietorship. Starting a sole proprietorship is very straightforward. So let's now go to step number 1. Choose a business name. You have to make sure that the business name that you choose is unique, and you have to make sure that you have at least 3 to 5 alternative business names, just in case your first choice isn't approved. Next step is to register your business name with the DTI. For the online registration, visit the DTI Business Name Registration System to register your business name online. So registering your business name and registering your trademark are two very different things. I will discuss this in a different video more thoroughly, but you have to remember that a business name is only something that is required of you legally to start your business, whereas a trademark is something that will protect your brand and make sure that you are unique and no one is copying you. A business name is registered with either the DTI or the SEC, whereas trademark registration is done with the Intellectual Property Office of the Philippines. And it's a whole different requirement altogether. I'll create a video for that, the steps on how to register your trademark. So for full protection, I suggest that you do both. Hindi naman required ang trademark registration, but it's best for your protection just in case somebody infringes on your brand or logo. You have the legal rights to sue that person if your trademark is registered. Step 3, obtain a barangay clearance. So kung saan located yung business mo, doon ka pumunta sa barangay office na yon and then get yourself a barangay clearance. So what do you have to submit to get a barangay clearance? Your DTI certificate, your proof of residency or proof of address ng business mo, and a valid ID. So submit these requirements and provide the necessary documents, and of course, pay the applicable fees for this, and then you can get your barangay clearance. Step 4, secure a mayor's permit. Go to the Business Permits and Licensing Office or the BPLO. Visit the city or municipality hall where your business operates. Once you're there, you have to submit the necessary documents. So ano ba yung mga required na documents? First is the DTI Business Name Registration Certificate. Next, you have the barangay clearance, the lease contract or proof of business address, the sketch of the business location, the fire safety inspection certificate, the sanitary permit, and the community tax certificate or the cedula. So you have to keep checking the website or you have to keep inquiring with your BPLO office to make sure that updated yung mga list of requirements mo. Step number 5 is to register with the BIR or the Bureau of Internal Revenue. So you have to complete BIR Form 1901 and fill out the application for registration. You have to submit the following documents. First, the DTI Certificate of Registration, the Mayor's Permit, the Barangay Clearance, the lease contract or proof of business address, a valid ID, and you have to pay the fees, of course, that are involved. You also have to submit the registered books of accounts and ensure that your books are registered before commencing business operations. You also have to apply for authority to print receipts and invoices. This allows you to issue official receipts and sales invoices. So this is one of the benefits, going back to our first topic, one of the benefits of registering your business in that you are transacting now with receipts, because maraming clients, they would want receipts. And if you're not registered, you can't have clients like this. Step number 6 is to obtain additional licenses if applicable, depende sa business mo. So this is industry-specific na permit. So depending on your business, you might need additional licenses. For example, food businesses may require approval from the Food and Drug Administration, or travel agencies must register with the Department of Tourism. So depende talaga sa iyong industry, you're gonna have to check and research kung ano yung mga additional licenses that you have to secure. And step number 7 is to register with social agencies if you have employees under your payroll. So Social Security system, you have to go and register to provide Social Security benefits for your employees. PhilHealth to ensure health insurance coverage for your team, and Pag-ibig Fund to facilitate housing loan benefits for your employees. Remember that these are government requirements. They are mandatory. You can't get away from them if you have employees. So you have to fulfill these things because there are penalties involved if you don't comply. So always check the latest guidelines and fees from the respective government agencies, as procedures and costs can change every year. Now let's go to registering your corporation. What are the steps? If in case you want to DIY this, here we go. Number 1 is name verification. First, head over to the eSpark website. I'll try to put the link, and click on regular processing. Then follow the prompts to proceed to the application. Once there, you'll fill out the name verification form with your company details and proposed company structure. You also have to indicate your company name or trade name, and then after that, you click next and then just follow all the prompts. So while waiting for your name verification, because it takes time, you can already proceed to the next steps of the registration process. Once your name is approved, it's time to input your company's details and start by completing the form with your company's purpose, address, and contact information. Next is to enter the details of your capital structure. This includes your authorized capital stock and the initial subscription. After that, list the company officers, incorporators, directors, and subscribers. Now, upload all the required documents and then review if tama ba ito lahat. You have to make sure that you check off all the boxes and make sure that all the details are correct, especially mga spelling and mga numbers. So these can be little things, but it matters so much. And if everything is all good, you'll receive an email with your application reference number, and you have to wait for another email that will update you on your pre-approved application status. Step number 3, uploading authenticated documents. Once your application is pre-approved, click the link provided in the SEC email. This will bring you back to your application in the eSpark. So download and print the system-generated forms, then sign them along with your company officers. Have these documents either authenticated or notarized if necessary. So depende yan siya, either authenticated or notarized. What is important is that there has to be wet signature, physical signature from all the incorporators and the officers of your corporation. Here's a tip for you. If your uploaded documents are disapproved, the SEC will provide correction marks or mga comments nila sa email, and then you'll have 15 business days to re-upload corrected files to avoid application cancellation. So here are the payment options for the SEC. You have the electronic system payment for the SEC or ESPaySec, and you have the over-the-counter at the SEC cashier office, and you have the land bank over-the-counter. And so that's it for creating and registering your corporation. If nasa-stress na kayo just listening to me enumerate all the steps, then you can hire an attorney to do all of this for you para wala na kayong isipin. But yeah, you can definitely outsource this. But if you're the type that you want to DIY everything, then you just have to follow these steps and you'll be good. And there you have it. We're done with our class. Now you know the difference between the sole proprietorship and a corporation and how exactly you go by the step-by-step processes of registering both entities. So I hope you learned something here and that you remember that registration is really important. It's not just compliance with the law, it's actually establishing your business's credibility and integrity so that you can expand more and you can have more clients, and then you can have more funding. So there are different benefits to registration. As long as you want to build the trust of your clients, then this is the way to go. So if you found this episode helpful, please like, share, and subscribe to the Hey Attorney podcast for more legal tips and business insights. If you have any questions, drop them in the comment section below, and you can also message me directly. Also, if you have a friend who is thinking of incorporating their business, then you can send this video to them. If you want to reach me personally, you can also send an email to Bernice@piñolo.com or visit us in our website at www.piñolo.com. Again, this is Attorney Bernice Piñol-Rodriguez, your Hey Attorney on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Remember, know your rights and do what's right.